So this is called latch hooking. It's maybe one of those things that persons used to do back in the day with the crocus bag and pulling through the strips of cloth. Grandparents or grandmother used to do it generation or two ago. It's called latch hooking. It looks a little bit tedious, but it's actually quite soothing, quite therapeutic, quite fun. So the latch hook kit, it comes with, this is your frame, then you have your hook, you have your thread. It's about 17 different colors, and they came in these quantities. They didn't come separated, they came in like a big bundle, and I had to pull them apart, separate them. As you can see, I counted them out to make sure that what they said is what I had. And it also comes with this pattern. This is a cornucopia. It's something that I enjoy doing. I got it last year, May. And I started it, somehow it got tossed into the things to finish pile with my other craft projects. And I pulled it out a couple weeks ago because I'm determined to finish it this time around. Earlier, Curious Caroline decided that she wanted to give it a try. And after about 3 or 4 rows, she gave up. She could not be bothered with it anymore. And I said to myself, you know, this is kind of like life, where I want to equate our life to this latch hook project. We have a frame, we have different colored threads that has their place. Each thread, each color has a place in the frame. We have our tool, the latch hook, and we have our pattern. This is what the finished pattern is supposed to be. One of the problems that Caroline had was it's too boring. It's just one color putting in. How are also the pattern coming out? How it go? What sense is it that I'm doing this and I'm not seeing the pattern coming out? And I equated it to life because sometimes that's how we get. We are at a point in our lives, and because we don't see where that particular thing connects to what we're doing in life, we become frustrated, we become fed up, and we can't be bothered anymore. But this pattern is interesting. The colors are all different, and I remember when I was doing some of the darker sections on the pattern, I didn't understand or comprehend. I couldn't figure out, why am I putting in all of these black spaces? And then the brown mixed in with the green here, and this shade green different from that shade green. And what significance is it going to be if I put the brighter red or the darker red? Why would the pattern ask to put the darker red and the brighter red separate? You understand what I'm saying? And if we think about each of these squares being a day in our life, some days are dark, some days are bright, some days have similar traits, but it's a different shade of the experience for that day. But when you're finished putting all of them together, even without this pattern being complete, you can already see the pattern, the picture emerging. You can see it emerging, even without it being complete. It's just half done, and I'm excited to see what the rest of it is going to be like. And that's life. We have our dark days, we have our not so dark days, we have our monotonous days where we're doing the same thing over and over and over. We have our bright days. We have our in-between days. We have so many variations in our lives. I could have started doing this project from just the edges. I started at the bottom and then worked my way in from the side. I could have decided to do just columns or do it by rows. I could mix it and do it rows and then columns, or columns and then rows. Any way I want to mix it up. As long as at the end of the day, I'm putting the threads where they're supposed to go and the pattern is emerging. So sometimes in life, again, we think we all have to do things the same way. So we have to go to school. Then after school, we finish our degrees and our masters and whatever. Then afterwards, we get married. Then we have children. And it doesn't have to be like that. It could be a case where you got married right out of school, then you had the children, then you went back to school. It could be a case where when you left high school, you got a career, then you went on to school, then you got married, then you had children. It could be that you had children, then you got, any way you want to mix it up. As long as at the end of the day, you understand that each thread, it has its place in your pattern. And no thread is any less important than the other. And I'm just saying that to say this. We have our dark days, our bright days, our good experiences, our bad experiences, but they all factor into the bigger picture of life. And at the end of the day, as long as we appreciate all of our experiences and understand that it's a part of our pattern, we can't go wrong. So the purpose of this rant really is just to tell persons, be patient with your pattern. It will come together. I really want to finish this before the end of the year. Let's get to it.